So it's a new day, and since the last video, I spent a little bit of time refining the eyeball placement because I noticed that it wasn't quite matching the scan. So I spent a little bit of time just really trying to line it up well with the eyeballs in the scan, and like this is the kind of process that is worth doing early on before you get into shape work. Just to avoid any issues further down the line once you start, doing some detailed eyelid work. If the eyeballs aren't quite right, then that can mess you up. So yeah, I spent a little bit of time making sure that the eyelid sits nicely on the eyeball. And I also updated the eye edge mesh to make sure that that sits nicely on the eyeball, and I did the same with the eye shell mesh. If you decide to do that yourself, there is a utility called iWetPost, which will take those meshes and project them onto the eyeball, and then do a little offset to make sure that this eye shell sits just over the eye. So I'm ready to transfer skin weights to this mesh now. So just minimize this. If we select our joints and the mesh and just skin to that whole hierarchy. So I'm going to transfer skin weights from the low resolution mesh. And I'm going to use UV space, influence association 1:1. Okay, so we can check that that's working as expected. Check the eyes, and I'm also going to check the blinks. So this is probably where you're going to start to notice the first issues. So this eye doesn't look too bad. But this eye, we've got this strange bulge here, and we can see that's because this joint is being pushed out too far. So we can start editing the joint poses to fix this. So to do this, we're first going to need to disconnect these joints or rebuild it as a partial rig. Because I've done some skinning on this, I'm going to do it the manual way. So in the node editor, if you graph connections from one of the joints, you should be able to find this embedded node. This is where all the MetaHuman rig logic lives, and you can simply just delete it. And now the control board won't work, and all the joints are no longer connected. So we are able to start working on this. So in the Poses tab, I'm going to set DNA file to output DNA because that's what we're working on, and hit load poses. And then I'm going to search for blink. I'm going to click left blink, and I'm going to hit pose joints. So here is our troublesome pose. So we can literally just start manipulating this. I'm going to x-ray the joints and click set joint look so that we can see this a bit easier. And you'll also notice we've got some display layers in here, so we can hide a lot of this to make this easier to work with. So yeah, you can kind of see that the eyeball is pretty far back in here, so we can pull these joints back quite a ways to get that a little bit better of a volume. So let's say we're happy enough with that. Let me just tweak that a little. Yeah, let's say we're happy with that. In our tool, in edit poses, we just need to hit the update pose button. And just to make sure that works, I'm going to hit reset joints and then pose them again. And cool, that's got our new pose. And I'm also going to do the same on the other side, just to check what this is looking like. I'm also going to check I look down, because that's going to have a similar effect up here. Yeah, so we want to do the same thing with this one. So let's say we're happy with this. We can now save our output DNA. And that's just going to confirm that we want to save it to there. But actually, I'm going to just increment the version just in case. Okay. So now we will actually need to rebuild this rig using the new DNA and then transfer skin weights again. Okay, so that has rebuilt, and we can see now that the blinks are working much better, and the eye combos are looking okay, and that look down is looking a lot better. So in terms of volumes, that's looking good. There's still a lot we can do with improving that in blend shapes, but for now I'm pretty happy with that. So at this stage, I'm happy to start baking this down. So we're going to bake this to like 100% blend shapes to make it easier to work with. So to do this, we are going to check our config first of all. So in our config, we just want to check what meshes are going to be baked. I'm gonna skip the eye meshes for now, and I'm gonna rename this to the sub D to make sure that we bake our high resolution mesh. And I'm just going to save this out as another version, and then we can browse to the config that we just saved out. So we want to make sure that we are building from the correct DNA so that we get the right poses. So we want to build from our output DNA, and we're going to leave all these options ticked and just hit build. This is going to confirm which DNA version we're going to use and which config file we're going to use, and hit OK. So this process will take a little while. You'll get a printout in the script editor and some progress bars at the bottom as it bakes the shapes. This will maybe take 10 minutes or so to run.